Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to dive deep into something fundamental to almost every business interaction: agreements.
That's right. Sales contracts, HR paperwork, supplier agreements. They really are the engine of how business gets done.
But so often these processes are like, well, they're kind of stuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We often talk about the agreement trap. It's this situation where value just leaks away because of old, manual, disconnected ways of doing things, and vital information. It's just locked up in static files. Hard to get to, hard to use.
The agreement trap sounds costly. What kind of specific problems do you see cropping up again and again?
Oh, plenty. I mean, think about the basics. Just the sheer amount of paper involved, the cost of printing that, mailing it. Then there's the time people spend just chasing signatures.
Right, that follow-up takes forever.
It does. And then you have the risk, documents getting lost, damaged, even just finding space to store everything physically. It's inefficient, it invites human error, and it just eats up resources.
Okay, so the mission for us in this episode is clear. How do we help you break out of that trap? How do you move to, let's say, a more modern way of managing agreements?
Yeah, we want to look at connected, automated processes, the kind that bring real benefits, things like more speed, definitely lower costs, and frankly, just a better, smoother experience for everybody. Customers, employees, partners.
And technology must play a big role here.
Absolutely. A platform like the Docusign IAM platform is a really powerful way to tackle this. IAM stands for Intelligent Agreement Management.
Intelligent Agreement Management, okay.
Yeah, and this kind of platform is built to help you handle agreements right across the whole life cycle. So from the moment you create them, get them signed, committed to, all the way through managing them afterwards.
It streamlines things.
Streamlines those processes, yeah, the painful ones. And crucially, it helps unlock all that valuable data that's usually just sitting inside those agreement documents.
That sounds transformative, but where does an organization even begin? It sounds like a big shift. How do you pinpoint the best places to start?
That's a great question. You really start by looking for your use cases.
Use cases. Define that for us in this context.
Sure. A use case here is basically just a specific business process that involves an agreement. It's where you bring people, maybe different systems, together to get something done. Think of it as a process you can actually analyze and, well, improve.
And I imagine these can vary quite a bit in complexity.
Totally. You could have a really simple use case, like just sending a non-disclosure agreement out for signature. That's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Or it could be much more involved, like the entire process for onboarding a new employee. That might involve multiple documents, different approval steps, maybe even connecting with your HR system.
So how do you find these opportunities within your own company? Where do you look?
Well, you can definitely start with some standard lists. Sometimes you see them broken down by who's involved, like customers, employees, vendors, or by department, like HR, legal, procurement, financial services,
But that gives you some ideas to kick off with.
It does. But honestly, the absolute most critical thing is to talk to the people who actually own and run these processes day to day. Your business process owners.
Get insights from the front lines.
Exactly. You need to understand their current workflow. How does it actually work now? What are they measuring, if anything? Turnaround time, error rates.
And importantly, what are their headaches?
Precisely. Dig into the pain points. Where are the delays happening? Where are the risks? What are the hidden costs they might not even be fully tracking?
Okay, so let's say you've done that. You've talked to people. You have a list of potential use cases. How do you decide, which ones to tackle first? There might be quite a few.
Right. You need to analyze them and prioritize. A really common way to do this is to estimate two things: the potential return on investment, the ROI, and how quickly you think you can get a solution implemented.
And ROI isn't just saving money on paper clips and postage, right?
Not at all. You absolutely look at those hard costs. Paper mailing, storage, yes. But you also have to factor in the soft costs. Think about all the employee time you reclaim when they're not doing manual tasks, chasing things down. It's huge value.
Makes sense.
And if you plot these potential projects, maybe on a simple chart, ROI on one axis, implementation speed on the other, you can often spot the quick wins.
Ah, the low-hanging fruit.
Kind of, yeah. Those projects that offer high impact but can be rolled out relatively quickly. Starting there is great for building momentum and showing value early on.
Okay, smart. So you've picked your first project, maybe a quick win, but just deciding to use a new digital tool isn't enough to make it stick across a whole company, is it?
Absolutely not. That's where the next big piece comes in. change management.
The people side of things.
Exactly. It's all about preparing, equipping, and supporting the individuals who are going to be affected by this new way of working. If you skip this, that's often why these tech projects stumble. Good change management minimizes disruption, keeps morale up, and actually improves productivity.
So who are the key people you need to involve in making that change happen smoothly?
Identifying those key players is vital. Top of the list. You need an executive sponsor.
Why is that role so important?
Well, they provide the top-level direction, they help secure the resources you need, they champion the whole program, and they really ensure people adopt it across different departments. Their backing is critical.
Okay, who else?
You'll also have your business owners, the people responsible for the process you're changing. Project managers, naturally. IT folks are usually involved. Legal often needs to weigh in. It depends on the project's scope.
And this ties into the overall project plan, I assume.
Yes, you need a solid project deployment plan. That's your roadmap. It maps out the schedule, the deliverables, the different phases you'll go through. Things like plan and assess, then design, develop and test, deploy, maintain and support, and finally evaluate and accelerate.
Right, the standard project phases.
But here's the key thing. You need to develop your change management plan right alongside that project plan. Address the people side from the very beginning. How will you communicate? What training is needed? How do you get everyone committed?
Got it. Plan for the tech, plan for the people. So let's fast forward. You've successfully launched your first use case with the Docusign IAM platform. How do you keep that energy going and expand the program?
Great question. First, you track and analyze those metrics you set up earlier. Relentlessly.
Show the proof.
Show the proof. Use that data to demonstrate the ROI, the value you delivered. That becomes your success story. Then, keep talking to other groups, other process owners. Build a pipeline of what's next.
And getting the word out internally must be important too.
Oh, absolutely. You need to socialize the platform. Make it visible. Share those success stories widely, maybe through internal emails, run some demos, talk about it at company meetings, show people how it's making work better, easier, faster. Build that buzz.
As these programs grow, I've heard companies talk about setting up a center of excellence, or a COE. What exactly is that?
Yeah, a COE is basically a centralized team. They take ownership of managing the implementation, the ongoing support, and the user enablement for the platform across the whole organization.
And what are the advantages of having a dedicated team like that?
There are quite a few, actually. It gives everyone a central place to go for expertise. It helps drive consistency in how the platform is used, which is important for governance and efficiency.
Okay.
It also kind of acts like a shop window for the Docusign IAM platform, showcasing its capabilities. It ensures users have a good experience because support is consistent, and you get economies of scale. Rolling out new use cases becomes faster and more standardized.
That makes a lot of sense, especially for larger organizations. And you mentioned user enablement there. Empowering the actual users seems like it would be absolutely non-negotiable for long-term success.
It really is. You have to make sure people have the resources and the knowledge they need to use the tools effectively and confidently.
And that might look different for different people.
Definitely. Think about the different types of users you might have. Some people might just need to send documents for signature occasionally. Others might be administrators who need deeper knowledge of managing the platform. And then you might have developers building really complex workflows. Each group needs tailored training and support.
So providing those resources is key.
Crucial. And there are great resources available. Things like Docusign University offer specific training modules. There's Docusign support for technical help, the Docusign community for peer-to-peer advice.
Okay, lots of avenues.
Yeah, or you can always reach out directly to a sales team to talk through your specific situation and needs.
This has been really insightful. We've kind of journeyed from understanding that agreement trap and its costs through identifying use cases, planning the deployment and change management, building momentum with things like a COE, and finally, empowering users with a platform like the Docusign IAM platform.
This is definitely a journey, but one with significant rewards at the end. Streamlining agreements really does touch every part of a business.
Right. So here's a final thought for you to take away from this episode. Spend a moment thinking about your own organization. Where might there be untapped potential? What hidden value could still be locked away in those manual, perhaps disconnected agreement processes you still have? What could you unlock? Thank you for joining us for this episode. We hope you enjoyed the discussion. Listen to another episode to learn more about the Docusign IAM platform and how to unlock the value of your agreements.